Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow their money with ease, while others work really hard and still struggle to get ahead? The truth is that people with lots of money often follow a special set of rules about how to use it, rules they don't often talk about. But today, I'm going to share some of the most important parts of that hidden guide. I'll walk you through 10 things that can quietly drain your money and stop you from building the life you dream of. These things aren't just bad purchases. They are money traps that look like success, but actually pull you backwards. Even Warren Buffett, one of the world's smartest investors, has said that avoiding these types of spending habits was one of the biggest reasons he was able to build his fortune. Many people think getting rich is about earning more, but often it's really about spending wisely and staying away from things that steal your wealth without you noticing. Each one of these money mistakes is part of a system that helps other people get richer with your money. Make sure to pay attention to the last one I'll mention because it's the trickiest of them all. In fact, it might already be parked outside your house. Let's start with the first one, buying brand new cars. That shiny new car can be really tempting. The smell, the clean seats, and the feeling of driving something fresh off the lot make it hard to resist. But did you know that as soon as you drive away from the dealership, your car loses about 15% of its value right away? That means if you bought a $40,000 car, it's suddenly worth around $34,000 the moment you leave, and you haven't even reached your home yet. And it doesn't stop there. In just 5 years, that same car could be worth less than half of what you paid. Yet, if you took out a loan to buy it, you're still paying the full price, and sometimes even more because of added interest. In the end, you might spend $50,000 for something that isn't even worth $20,000 anymore. People who are truly wealthy usually don't fall into this trap. They understand that buying a new car might feel exciting, but it's one of the quickest ways to lose money without realizing it. Even though Warren Buffett has billions of dollars, he chose to drive a used Cadillac. That's because he knows something very important. Cars are not things that grow in value. They actually lose value over time. People who truly understand money focus on owning things that become more valuable, not less. A smart idea when looking for a car is to choose one that is around 2 or 3 years old and has been well taken care of. For example, a used Toyota Camry or Honda Accord still offers nearly the same features as a brand new one and might even come with a warranty. But it can save you $10,000 or even $15,000 right away. Now, if you really want a new car, take a moment to think it through carefully. Imagine this. Instead of spending $40,000 on a new vehicle, you invested that money in a group of the biggest companies in the US, called the S&P 500, for 20 years. That money could grow into more than $186,000. So you have to ask yourself, is that new car smell really worth giving up all that future money? And if you think losing money on a car is a bad deal, wait until you hear about the next big financial mistake. It's something that can feel like a dream at first, but later becomes something very hard to escape. Number 2 is designer clothes and expensive accessories. This is when someone buys things that look fancy, not because they need them, but because they want to seem rich. A $2,000 purse or a $10,000 watch may make someone appear successful for a moment, but in truth, many people wearing these things are deep in debt. They're giving up real money security for something that only looks like wealth on the outside. This situation is very interesting. Some people who owe a lot of money walk around in the latest fashion, while many real millionaires wear simple clothes and live in quiet neighborhoods. For example, Mark Zuckerberg often wears the same kind of plain gray t-shirt. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought more than 60 years ago. They understand something very important. It's better to own things that make you money than to only look like you have money. Let's look at the numbers. A $500 pair of shoes isn't just about the money you spend. If you had invested that $500 into something like a group of top companies, an ETF like VTI, and it grew at about 8% each year, you'd have over $20,000 in 20 years. And if you used a credit card with interest to buy those shoes, the total cost could become double because of added fees. This doesn't mean you should never buy beautiful or high-quality things. It just means you should do it at the right time and in the right amount. People who grow real wealth usually follow something called the assets first rule. They focus on building strong financial habits before spending on extra items. Here's a helpful idea. If something fancy costs more than 1% of everything you own, it might not be the right time to buy it. If you truly enjoy high-end fashion, there are smart ways to enjoy it without hurting your savings. Places like The Real or Vestiaire Collective sell real designer items for much less than the original price. Or you can use services like Rent the Runway, where you can wear fancy clothes without buying them forever. Now, even though spending on designer items can waste money, at least you still end up with a real thing in your hand. But the next money mistake is worse, because it often gives you nothing at all. The third trap is timeshares. Something that sounds like a great idea, but often turns out to be the exact opposite. A timeshare promises you a small piece of a vacation home that you can enjoy every year. It seems exciting, like owning a bit of paradise. But in reality, timeshares are often a terrible financial choice. In fact, they really shouldn't even be called investments. It usually begins with a big payment, sometimes $20,000 or more. But that's just the start. What many people don't hear during the sales pitch are the yearly fees. These maintenance costs start around $800, but can grow quickly, reaching $2,000 or more every year. And the tough part is that you have to pay them no matter what, even if you don't go on the trip. Then when people try to sell their timeshare, they discover something upsetting. Hardly anyone wants to buy it. There are thousands of people trying to get rid of their timeshares, some even willing to sell them for just a few dollars or pay others to take over the deal. One man named Robert from Miami paid $30,000 for his timeshare in Florida, but 5 years later he tried to sell it for $15,000 and didn't get a single offer. People who understand money well do something very different. They book vacation places when they want to travel, using apps like Airbnb, VRBO, or even special hotel discounts. This gives them freedom to pick new places, enjoy better rooms, and avoid long-term payments that never seem to stop. If you already have a timeshare and feel stuck, there are companies that help people cancel those contracts. But be ready, it usually costs a lot. That's why it's always better to be careful before signing anything. Ask yourself, is this giving me freedom, or is it tying me down to something I can't easily leave? It helps the YouTube system know what kind of videos to show more people, and I want to make sure I'm creating things that really help you. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about something that often looks impressive, but can secretly damage your money goals. We're talking about the third habit that quietly takes your wealth, trading your financial future for attention from people who don't even know you. It's number 4, lottery tickets and gambling, what some people call a tax on hope. This kind of spending takes advantage of people's dreams. Many people give away money for a chance to win something huge, but the chance is so tiny, it's almost impossible. Most of the people who play are those who can't afford to lose money. The chances are shocking. You're more likely to be hit by lightning, which is about 1 in 500,000, than to win the Powerball, which is about 1 in 292 million. To help you picture it, imagine a giant sports arena filled with people. If you chose one person at random to win, their chances would still be better than winning the lottery. The average person in the US spends around $400 a year on lottery tickets. That might not seem like a big number. But if someone invested that same amount every month into a group of top companies, like in a fund called VOO, and let it grow for 30 years with an average return of 8%, it could become more than $50,000. Sarah, who lives in Ohio, found this out the hard way. After looking back, she realized she had spent over $15,000 on lottery tickets during 12 years and never won more than $50 at once. Let's look at what wealthy people do. They don't throw their money at chances that are almost impossible. Instead, they make thoughtful choices. They invest in things like businesses, properties, and company shares, where their chances of growing money are much higher. They know that true wealth is built through steady, careful actions, not through luck that comes all at once. If you sometimes feel the urge to take a chance and play, that's okay. Just keep it small. Create a little fun fund in your entertainment budget. Maybe no more than 1% or 2% of the money you have left after your needs are covered. This way, you get the excitement without hurting your future. Or even better, you can shift that habit in a smart direction. Try apps like Acorns or Robinhood. These tools let you invest easily and enjoy the process, kind of like a game, but with much better results over time. Now, as risky as lottery spending can be, it usually takes time before it causes major harm. But the next financial problem is faster and much more dangerous. It's like a super-powered vacuum that pulls money right out of your wallet. Nearly 40% of people in the US are stuck in this trap right now. Number 5 is credit card debt, the sneaky enemy of your financial health. That little plastic card in your pocket might look helpful, but it can cause a lot of damage if you're not careful. Most credit cards charge around 20% interest every year. That means if you don't pay off the full amount, the amount you owe keeps growing quickly, like a snowball rolling downhill. Let's look at the numbers. If you owe $5,000 and only pay the smallest amount the credit card asks for each month, it could take you over 15 years to finish paying it off. And during that time, you could end up giving more than $10,000 just in interest. It's like buying everything at double the price. Dave from Boston had to learn this lesson himself. He bought furniture and electronics with his credit card, building up a $7,000 bill. In the end, he paid more than $16,000 after years of only making the smallest payments. What many people don't realize is that banks want you to do this. That $25 or $35 minimum payment isn't there to help you. It's carefully planned so you stay in debt and they can collect more money from you in interest. This creates a quiet transfer of wealth from you to the bank's owners. But there's another way to use credit cards, the smart way. People who are good with money use credit cards for their benefits. Things like travel points, money back, and protection against fraud. But here's the key. They always pay the full amount every month without fail. This way, the credit card works for them, not against them. Cards like Chase Freedom or Citi Double Cash give back about 2% of what you spend, but only if you never pay interest. Have any of the money traps we've talked about so far been things you already knew, or has something here surprised you? I'd really love to know. If you have a moment, write a quick comment saying, "I knew this," or "That's new to me." I read each one, and your feedback helps me make even better content just for you. Now let's jump back in. If you're already dealing with debt, there is hope. One helpful plan is called the avalanche method. This means you focus on paying off the credit card with the highest interest rate first, while still making the smallest payments on the others. Once that first card is cleared, you take the money you were using on it and apply it to the next highest one. This creates a powerful chain reaction, like a snowball rolling downhill. Apps like Undebt, It or Tiller Money can help keep your plan organized and cheer you on as you see your debt shrinking. Now, while credit card debt is a common issue, our next money mistake often looks like a smart step forward. but it can become a very expensive mistake. It's a type of learning that many people are still paying for long after they've finished school. Number 6 is expensive and unhelpful college degrees. Learning that leads to debt. For many years, the advice has been, go to college, get a good job. This idea has been repeated by parents and teachers for generations, but today, it doesn't always work out that way. A 4-year college degree can now cost more than $100,000. Many students leave school with a diploma in hand, but also with large debts and no promise of a job. In the United States, the average student loan is about $37,000. Some people owe over $100,000, especially in certain programs. Here's the big issue. Some careers don't pay enough to match the high cost of the degree. Jennifer, for example, studied visual arts and graduated with $60,000 in student loans. Her first job only paid $32,000 a year. Even after working for 5 years, she still owed more than when she first finished college. The real problem isn't learning. It's when the price of school doesn't match the benefits it brings. People who are careful with money ask smart questions before choosing a college path. They ask, will this degree actually help me earn more? Is there a less expensive way to get into this job? Can I learn these skills somewhere else for less money? Luckily, there are good and affordable options. Certificate programs in areas like computer tech, website design, or data work often cost less than $10,000 and can lead to jobs that start around $60,000 a year. Community colleges are another great option. You can complete the first 2 years of your education there for much less money. And don't forget online learning. Websites like Coursera, edX, and LinkedIn Learning offer excellent classes for just hundreds of dollars, not thousands. If you're thinking about going to college or paying for special training, it's so important to do your homework first. Websites like PayScale and the Bureau of Labor Statistics can show you what people earn in different jobs, depending on what kind of education they have. You can use this to compare schools and think about starting at a community college, which usually costs less, and then moving to a university for your final years. There are also ways to get help with paying for school. Scholarships, government aid, and even programs some jobs offer to pay for school can make a big difference. At least, when you pay for an education, you're building up your own skills and future opportunities. If you want to learn how to make your money work for you while you sleep, click on the link in the first comment and I'll show you how you can do it. But now we come to the 7th trap, and it's one that many people fall into without thinking. This one is about spending lots of money on things that you rarely use. Things that not only lose value over time, but can also cause stress and extra work. This brings us to number 7, boats and fancy items, buying trouble that looks like luxury. There's an old joke that boat owners often tell. The best 2 days of owning a boat are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Hidden in that joke is a serious truth. A lot of people don't realize how much boats, second homes, and other luxury items really cost until it's too late. Things like this may look impressive, but they're often money traps in disguise. A boat that costs $50,000 might need another $5,000 to $10,000 each year for things like repairs, storage, fuel, and insurance. And here's the surprising part. Most of these boats sit unused for more than 90% of the time. Take Mike from Tampa. He bought his dream boat for $65,000. But after tracking how often he used it, he found out he only took it out 8 days a year. That meant each day on the water actually cost him almost $2,000. People who are smart with money look at this differently. Instead of buying these kinds of things, they rent them only when they need them. Why spend $50,000 on a boat when you could rent one for $400 to $600 per day a few times a year? That way, you enjoy the fun without the burden. There are even apps like Get My Boat, Boat Setter, and Freedom Boat Club that help you do just that. If you crunch the numbers, a $50,000 boat with $5,000 a year in upkeep costs turns into $100,000 over 10 years. But if you had invested that same amount in a fund that grows about 8% each year, you could end up with about $215,000. So here's the big question. Are those few fun days on the lake really worth giving up $115,000 you could have had in the future? If you really enjoy special activities like this, there's a simple rule to follow. If the yearly cost to maintain something fancy is more than 5% of what you earn after taxes, it's probably too expensive for you right now. And if you still want these kinds of experiences, think about joining a club or sharing ownership instead of buying the whole thing. Now, if spending too much on luxury items doesn't sound like the best idea, just wait. Our eighth financial trap is even harder to spot. It's often sold as something that protects you and helps you grow your money, but in reality, it doesn't do either very well, and it mostly makes other people very wealthy. Number 8 is whole life insurance, a slow and costly way to invest. Some insurance salespeople say whole life insurance gives you both protection and a way to grow your money. But what they often don't tell you is that it mixes very pricey insurance with a low-earning investment, and it ends up not doing a good job at either. The numbers tell the real story. Whole life insurance can cost 5 to 10 times more than regular term insurance, even when both cover the same amount. For example, a 45-year-old man who wants $500,000 in coverage might pay only $400 a year for a term policy, but about $4,000 a year for whole life. That's a difference of $3,600 every year, money that could be used for real investments with much better returns. The way whole life insurance builds value is also very slow and inefficient. In the beginning, most of what you pay goes to fees and commissions. After 10 years, you might have paid $40,000, but your policy may only be worth $30,000. That's what happened to James from Ohio. After 8 years, he decided to take money out of his policy and found out he got less back than he had paid in. Meanwhile, his agent had earned thousands in the first year just from selling it. People who understand money well use a much smarter method. They buy term insurance, which is cheaper, to protect their family during important years, like when they have a mortgage or young kids. Then they invest the money they saved by choosing things like index funds, such as VTI or VOO, or putting it into retirement accounts like a 401k or an IRA. If you already have whole life insurance and are wondering if you made the right choice, you're not stuck. There are things you can do. You might be able to take out some money called a partial surrender, borrow from the policy, a policy loan, or move the money to something else, like an annuity, through a 1035 exchange, which lets you do it without paying taxes right away. Talk to a fee-only financial advisor, someone who doesn't make money from selling products, to get honest advice that's best for you. We've already talked about some big money mistakes, but the 9th one might be affecting you right now, maybe even in your pocket or purse. This is an expense that keeps coming back year after year. It's pushed by some of the smartest advertising in the world. A better way to handle it is this: buy term life insurance, which is simple and low cost, especially during the times in life when it matters most, like when you're raising children or paying off a home. Then take the money you save and put it into things that grow over time, like index funds such as VTI or VOO, or retirement plans like a 401k or IRA, which come with tax benefits. If you already have whole life insurance and are now wondering if it was the right choice, don't worry, there are paths you can take. You might be able to take out part of the value, a partial surrender, borrow against it, a policy loan, or even move it into a different type of account like an annuity using a tax-free swap known as a 1035 exchange. To understand what's best for you, talk to a fee-only financial planner, someone who gives advice without earning money from what you buy. Now, let's talk about another way people often waste money, and they may not even realize it. There's a huge industry built on convincing people to throw away things that still work and buy slightly newer versions. This is the 9th trap, and it's a sales trick so powerful that it gets people to spend thousands every year on upgrades that hardly make a difference. 9. Fancy gadgets and non-stop upgrades. The chase never ends. That new iPhone looks awesome, right? Maybe the camera is a little better. Maybe it runs a bit faster. But here's something companies like Apple and Samsung won't highlight. The changes from one version to the next are usually so small that the high price, often over $1,000, just isn't worth it. This system works in a sneaky way. Every new product comes with ads that make your current phone or device, even if it still works just fine, feel old and not good enough. These big companies are experts at something called perceived obsolescence. They don't need your device to stop working, just to make you think it's outdated. Many of us fall into this pattern again and again. The results are shocking. Getting a new phone every year could cost you over $12,000 in 10 years, but if you hold on to your phone for 3 or 4 years, you could save $6,000 or even $8,000 in that same time. Robert from Denver found out that he had spent more than $14,000 upgrading his iPhone over a decade. If he had put that money into an index fund instead, he could have had over $20,000 by now. People who make smart choices with money follow one key habit. They keep using their devices until they really don't meet their needs anymore, not just because something newer came out. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, used the same basic flip phone for years while building his business empire. It's not about avoiding new technology. It's about choosing it wisely, not emotionally. And when it really is time to upgrade, look for budget-friendly options instead of always reaching for the most expensive model. Older models from the previous year often get price cuts of 30 to 40% when a new version comes out. Buying a certified refurbished phone or laptop can be a smart move too. These devices usually come with solid warranties but cost a lot less. And when it comes to computers, you might not need a brand new one at all. Sometimes just upgrading the RAM or adding a faster SSD can make your old computer feel like new again. And it might only cost $100 or $200 instead of $1,500 for a totally new machine. Let me ask you something. Did you already know about these money mistakes we've talked about so far, or was some of this new to you? I'd really love to hear. Just leave a quick note saying, "Knew it," or "That's new to me." I read every single message, and it helps me share even better tips for you. Now we've come to the last big mistake on our list. It's something that often feels like the happiest event in someone's life. But for many couples, it becomes a heavy financial weight that follows them long after the big day is over. 10. Expensive weddings. One day, years of stress. Your wedding day is a beautiful moment, but it doesn't have to cost a fortune to be meaningful. In the US, the average wedding now costs over $30,000, and many couples start their marriage already deep in debt. They give up years of financial freedom just for a few hours of celebration. The pressure to spend big is everywhere. Magazines, television, and especially social media all show huge, glamorous weddings. Making it seem like a special day only matters if it looks perfect. But the truth is, there's no link between how much money is spent and how happy the marriage is. In fact, research shows that couples who spend less on their weddings often stay married longer. Jennifer and Michael from Boston chose a simple, small ceremony that cost $5,000. They took the $25,000 they didn't spend and used it as the down payment for their first home. That house has grown in value a lot in just 5 years. a decision that gave them both a solid foundation instead of debt. The point isn't that you shouldn't celebrate your love, it's that your future together matters more than just one day. A wedding should be about your connection, not about impressing others. That same $30,000 spent on a wedding, if put into a retirement fund at age 30, could grow into more than $450,000 by the time you turn 65, assuming it earns around 8% per year. Think about it. Is it really worth giving up nearly $500,000 just for fancy flowers and a DJ for one evening? Couples who are wise with their money are starting to change the way weddings are done. They're choosing to focus on love and memories instead of showing off or spending too much. Simple changes, like having the wedding on a weekday, choosing a special place like a park or museum for the party, using online invitations, and going with a clean, simple style can make a big difference. These ideas can lower the cost by a lot while still keeping everything meaningful and beautiful. If you're getting ready to plan a wedding, begin by setting a firm budget. Do this before looking at venues or picking colors. The most important rule is this: only spend what you can afford to pay in full without messing up your long-term financial plans. Helpful apps like Zola and Wedding Wire offer free tools to make budgeting easier and keep everything organized. Now, think about your financial journey. On a scale of 1 to 10, how useful was this information for you? Type your number in the comments. I'd really love to hear it. And let me know which one of these money traps you're planning to avoid first. Always remember, while many people are spending money just to look rich, you now have the tools to actually become wealthy. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today.